Hi, my name is Tom Archibald, and I'm just going to very quickly share a few thoughts about program evaluation, and especially how it pertains to contexts of agricultural and extension education, community education, other endeavors such as that. I'm an assistant professor and extension specialist here in the Department of Agricultural Leadership and Community Education, and I do offer a course on program evaluation, AEE 5204. So if you're interested in this is certainly something that you can pursue further as you go throughout your studies. So one thing that I'm quite aware of is that a lot of people have different notions in their mind when they think about program evaluation. One of them, especially program implementers, is this. Thinking about program evaluation or getting evaluated is like a trip to the dentist. But really, one thing I try to do is help people think of new metaphors for evaluation that aren't quite so painful. For instance, evaluation is like being a detective, trying to find out what happened, what is happening, looking for clues and details and evidence. It can be like being a photographer, taking different lenses and perspectives on the world. It can also be artistic as well as scientific. And this is quite a close metaphor, the idea of being a journalist. Michael Scriven, one of the founders of modern program evaluation, talks about how actually journalists are doing evaluation all the time. They're just not professional evaluators. And that's one important distinction to realize too, that evaluation actually is a professional field of practice as well as just something that many people do in their everyday jobs as educators. So a definition that I like to use is this one right here. Evaluation is the systematic inquiry to obtain accurate, useful insights about the answers to evaluation questions in a manner that is feasible, is credible, and makes strategic use of limited time and resources. So the key words here are highlighted, and then equally important probably is the notion of relevant stakeholders, because something that's accurate to you might not be accurate to me. Something that's useful for a participant in your program might not be feasible for you to actually conduct. So all four of these are different variables, really, that when you are trying to do a good program evaluation, you have to keep in mind, okay, relevant stakeholders, who are they? Is this accurate for them? Is this useful for them? Is this feasible for me and for them? And is it credible? These are some important considerations to keep in mind. One other really important thing right off the bat is that evaluation should not be seen as just this one-off thing that you do at the end of a program. In fact, really, the planning for an evaluation and the beginnings of an evaluation should be done at the same time as you're actually planning an agricultural or an extension program, right at the beginning. And then the evaluation itself has a life cycle that it goes through, from the evaluation planning phase through the actual doing of the evaluation, and then the utilization or the use of the evaluation. So there are a number of reasons why people evaluate, and instead of going into kind of current topics and trends in evaluation, what I wanted to do today is just go over some of the myriad ways or reasons why someone would evaluate, because sometimes I feel like we get stuck in a rut and thinking just about accountability or just about one other type of evaluation. So let's just review a few of the different reasons why someone might evaluate a program. One is very simple. It's just that you want to know if your program worked. Of course, this turns out to be not so simple, because how you define what working means, what does it mean for the program to work, it's not so self-evident. You want to improve, you want to do better. Another great reason to do program evaluation. This is the sort of accountability piece. Oftentimes we only do evaluation because someone is making us. The funding might be contingent on that. Sometimes even just the continued existence of an organization or a program is based on having some evaluation done. Oftentimes we have very limited resources, money and time and energy, so if we're going to be doing something out in the community or in an organization, we might as well use those resources wisely. Now, program evaluation can help you use those resources in a more efficient and effective way. Now this one is kind of thought-provoking, I think, because we go to work every day, we keep doing the same program year after year. Well, what if we've actually met some of our goals and we just never knew it because we were not systematically collecting data? So this is another really interesting reason to think about why you might want to do program evaluation. And then here, although I don't advocate beating anyone up, there is the traditional view of evaluation as it's about merit and worth and seeing kind of the comparative nature. Is something better than another thing? Is one object better than another object? Now, especially for those of you who work with cooperative extension, and maybe if you work in a different organization, this is also the case, and it's also the case in industry, I think. There are cycles that we go through between reading the context or the situation, working with our key stakeholders or clients, designing whatever educational program we're going to do. And then here, I really like the fact that, just maybe perhaps by coincidence, but program evaluation and reporting and use really is at the bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of the cycle, holding everything together. And one of the last reasons, but I think a really good one, is the fact that you are, or perhaps are working to become, a reflective practitioner, a critically reflective practitioner. So that means, in my understanding, that you are naturally an evaluative thinker. This is sort of a newer notion within the field of evaluation. This is kind of on the cutting edge. And this is that evaluation is not just a technical activity that you do, and an evaluation is not just a report that someone produces and then it sits on a shelf getting dusty, but rather evaluation is a way of thinking. So often, the people who commission an evaluation or are thinking that we need more of it, all they want over there in program territory is findings, as the donkey says. But really, what I think a lot of people are moving towards is trying to infuse evaluative thinking into the very culture of an organization so that evaluation as a way of thinking can really take hold. And the research has shown that this actually leads to much more useful evaluation that tends to actually be used and have some impact or effect on the organization. So it's not just doing evaluation for evaluation's sake, but it's using the tools of evaluation to do what the organization or the program is trying to do, but to do it better.